Happy Sunday, Visions of Greatness audience. Welcome back to another episode of the Visions of Greatness talk show, where we educate, empower, and equip entrepreneurs to achieve success in their life and business. I'm your host, Shanna A. Jefferson, and as always, I am grateful that you have decided to join us. Now, I want you to be sure to share this video with your family, your friends, tag any entrepreneur that you may know that can benefit from the topic that we have today, which is the boss life. Now, many entrepreneurs claim to be a boss, right, in their life and in their business. But what does it truly mean to be a boss, and what does it take to be a boss? Now, certainly, I've learned a lot in my endeavors as an entrepreneur and business owner now over the course of the last 8 years. But I have an amazing guest who is an expert in what he calls the boss life. And he is the one and only Mr. Leroy McKenzie. So once again, make sure y'all share this video. You do not want to miss today's episode of the Visions of Greatness talk show with our very special guest, Leroy McKenzie Jr. I'm going to go ahead and bring Leroy on. Hi, Leroy.
What's going on, Dr. Shayna? How are you? How are you? How are you?
I am great. It's always a pleasure connecting with you, Leroy. So thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, personal, business, and otherwise to join us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Like I said, our conversations are always great ones. So it's always great to be in great company. So thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. So go ahead, Leroy, and introduce yourself to the Visions of Greatness audience. Who is Leroy McKenzie Jr.?
And it's funny you say that because I'm used to actually talking to interviewing people as well. And that's usually the first question that I ask them. So tell us a little bit about yourself. So it's kind of funny to have that asked of me now. But for everyone, my name is Leroy McKenzie Jr. I'm the president and CEO of JNF Enterprises, LLC, which is a distribution, publishing, and business consulting firm located in Baltimore, Maryland. I am the impact builder, and what that is I purpose my purpose and my why is to be able to build impact with individuals and organizations wherever I go, because I'm a firm believer that when you build the impact, you change the world, and that's what I try to do with change the world with every encounter that I have with people all over. What we do is we assist individuals and organizations in bringing their visions to reality, and we do that through a couple different ways. We do that through books that I've written, as well as others that I've published. And in addition to that, we work with or we assist aspiring entrepreneurs and those entrepreneurs that have seasoned and already out there to be able to do more marketing, expand their marketing and branding of their particular business, their products, and their services.
Wow, I love that. Definitely so many much needed services for entrepreneurs. So again, if you're just tuning in, this is the Visions of Greatness talk show. I'm your host, Shanna A. Jefferson, and our special guest and expert today is Leroy McKenzie Jr. of JNF Enterprises, and we are discussing the boss life and so much more. Now, before we jump more into our topic for today, Leroy, I was joking with you before the show that I am keeping you from your game. I know we often go back and forth on Facebook regarding football. Can you hear me, Leroy?
Now, see, you're breaking up really bad, so I couldn't
Oh
hear
no.
what you just said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hi. I see Marlene is tuning in. Hi, welcome. So Leroy was essentially asking pertaining to football. We go back and forth often on Facebook regarding football. So, and our teams are
Yes.
competing this week. Who is your team, Leroy, for those who may not know?
Come on, that foot. Is there any other team other than the black and purple, the Ravens? Come on now. You know, it's got to be the Ravens Nation all the way.
I think I started off wrong already.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
But it's okay. Y'all are, I checked the score before we jump on, and as you indicate, y'all are winning the game. Is it over yet now? Not sure.
It should
But
be just about, it should be just about over. Yeah,
okay,
yeah. So
okay.
they had a good game today. They had a good game today. So, but yeah.
Oh, good, good, good. Well, so it's all friendly now. We'll see if that changes, Leroy, on December 3rd. Okay. Do you know what happens that day?
Yeah, it's all fun. It's all fun and games until December 3rd.
Yes. For those of you who don't know, I'm a Cowboys fan. So shout out to all the Cowboys. Actually, our kickoff is starting in about 20 minutes or so. So once we're done with this broadcast today, I'm going to actually hop on and take a look at that game. But let's get back to our topic for today. The boss life. Again, I indicated earlier
Yes.
that, there are many entrepreneurs that, say they're the boss, claim to be the boss. So even non-entrepreneurs say they're living, a certain life, certain lifestyle. Is, they're the boss. But the reality is everybody does not have what it takes to be a boss, or you may have it, but you're truly not implementing and executing the things that are necessary for you truly to live the boss life. So, Leroy, I want you to share
Mm.
more with our audience today. What does it mean to live the boss life?
Wow. I appreciate you giving it that introduction and just that very thing, because the boss life is not for everyone. And first, let me tell what everyone is, give you what the acronym is for boss. And what that is boss life has a meaning, and the meaning behind it is to be a boss, you must build, organize, shift, and sacrifice. Those are the elements to me of someone who lives the boss life. And what comes with those particular elements, those things that you do, it takes a person who is willing to do those things. You have to be willing to build. You have to be willing to organize. You have to be able to organize. You have to be able to shift, and then you have to be able to be willing to sacrifice. And I ask these questions to anyone that wants to consider themselves to be a boss. That is, what are you building? How are you organizing? What are you shifting? And then, are you willing to sacrifice? Because those are the things that you're going to have to do if you want to be a leader, if you want to be in charge of what it is that you do and live what we call the boss life, if you're willing to live that boss life. How are you building your business? And when it comes to entrepreneurship, how do you build your business? Do you have the structures in place to be able to build a successful business? Um, are you organized? Do you have a process, procedures, those things in place in order to be able to make sure, to ensure that your business can be successful? Because as Shana and I often talked about, or we've talked about before, most businesses do not survive the first 5 years. They do not survive the first 5 years. So what are those things that you're doing in order to be able to be successful beyond the 5 years? There's so many books out here that tell you how to start a business and how to open the doors of being, of your business, and all of those things. But what I found when I started my business was there was not a lot of information and people and books that were written to show you how to keep the doors open. What are those strategies? What are those processes that you need to have in place in order for you to be successful? And that's what organizing is. Organizing means, how do I organize my business, my brand in such a way that I can incrementally grow my business, that I can incrementally grow my brand to a level where it's sustainable, where it has stability, it has longevity, and all of those things. And then shifting is, do you shift the culture of the industry that you're in? Are you able to handle shifts? And we'll probably talk a little bit about this too. Is how have you handled instances such as 2020? 2020 has caused all of us to have a shift. Are you able to shift? How are you able to shift your business to be able to sustain or get through and handle a situation or even circumstances such as 2020? And of course, sacrifice. Entrepreneurship is sacrifice. What are you willing to give up in order to be able to have a business, thriving business, a thriving brand, a successful brand? And Shana has at the cost of entrepreneurship. There's a cost to it. There's absolutely a cost to it, and are you willing to pay that cost? So that's what the boss life entails. Uh-oh, you're muted. You're muted, Shana.
All right. You mentioned the mental cost of entrepreneurship, and a matter of fact, that's going to be our show topic
Yes.
2 weeks from today on October 25th. And as you know, Leroy, I mentioned I'm a mental health therapist. For those of you who don't know, I'm a mental health therapist as well as business coach. And taking charge of our mental health is of utmost importance, even amongst the general population. 1 out of every 4 adults experience a mental illness. But Leroy, there's a study that was conducted by the University of California that is, that suggests that 49%, so nearly half of all entrepreneurs experience or will experience a mental illness. So it is important, it is
Mm.
imperative. Your life and your business depends on it. If y'all hear me, okay? Your life and your business depends on you taking care of your mental health. Now, let me add this. When I speak of the mental cost of entrepreneurship, it's not just about our mental health. It's about that holistic approach to entrepreneurship. So you're ensuring that you're well physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, spiritually, financially, on all domains. So I'm definitely glad that you mentioned that, Leroy. But back to the boss life. Again, every time that we discuss it or I hear you share these tips, I still take notes because it resonates with me and it honestly helps me as well, Leroy. So I know it has to be some entrepreneur soul food, as I like to call it, for other
I
entrepreneurs
like
that
that.
are tuning in today as well, or perhaps you're going to catch the replay. But of those 4 things that you mentioned, build, organize, shift, and sacrifice, what would you say in your experience working with entrepreneurs is the most challenging of those 4 things?
Can you repeat that one more time, Shane? I'm sorry.
No problem. So, with the boss life, what's the
Hmm.
most challenging when it comes to entrepreneurs that you work with, or in your experience with other entrepreneurs? What's the most challenging for them to
Uh,
truly implement and execute in their life and business?
I would have to say, probably just shift. I mean, sacrifice, because
Mhm.
I don't think that a lot of people understand the amount of sacrifice that it takes in order to be able to not just have a business, but to be successful at running your business, because it it can drain you mentally, like you just mentioned. It drains you mentally, it can drain you physically, emotionally. It takes all of you in order to be able to get a business off the ground, but then also to keep it going. So I think that sacrifice, because you toss in, if you have a family, are they, you have to consider all of them. What is it that they're willing, because they have to be willing to sacrifice too, and give of you giving of your time and all of those things in order to be able to make it in. And if they're not all in, then it can create such a an issue or problems with when it comes to people. And I don't think that some people are ready to handle the sacrifice that it does take. So I would say it's the sacrifice. Building, yeah, I think people, they can understand it, that it is going to take quite a bit to be able to build. But building takes sacrifice, organizing takes sacrifice, and shifting takes sacrifice. To me, all of the other three are connected to the sacrifice, because they all of those other three aspects require you to sacrifice in some kind of way. So I would say that the sacrifice would be the one.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I would definitely agree with that as well. Well, let's get a little personal then, Leroy.
Hmm.
What would you say has been the biggest sacrifice that you have made in your life or business?
Well, I think the biggest sacrifice for me has been um, my has been my it's been my time, because I've had to extend a great amount of time in building my business and what it's required of me. So my focus has been almost like, and I don't know how many of your audience have watched any of the videos of Kobe Bryant when he talked about wanting to be the greatest player, if not one of the greatest players of all time in the NBA. He knew that it was going to take a certain amount of sacrifice and his time. So he sacrificed his time with his family. He sacrificed his time doing other things, and especially you got to think we went straight from high school into playing professional football. I mean basketball. So he wasn't one of those young kids that was hanging out. He wasn't one of those kids that was with his friends and everything like that. He was all laser focused about basketball, and that's kind of the way that I've been with my business. It's been, this is these are my goals. These are the things that I'm trying to achieve, and in order for me to do that, I know that there are going to be certain things I'm not going to be able to do. I'm not going to be able to hang out with friends all the time. There are going to be times where I'm be like, no, I can't do it. I got work to do. That means, hey, what's a weekend? What is a weekend? All of my days roll together. All of my days roll together. So it becomes a thing where, where I would say the thing in my personal and in my business life has been my time. And that's something that I've come to learn, that is my most valuable asset, because you can't get it back. You can't say, oh, I want more of it. You can't gain more of it. Once it's gone, it's gone. That's
Mm,
it.
absolutely.
So I would say that.
Mhm. Yeah. When, there are 24 hours in a day, right? We all get the same number of hours each and every day
Yep.
that we're blessed with life. But the question is, how do you use your time, right? How do you use those 24 hours? How do you maximize the time that
Yep.
we all have? Because there's some that can do more in a day that others do in a week, a month, or even longer. And what are some of those reasons that you would say, Leroy, that some entrepreneurs and others are able to maximize their time beyond, maybe sacrificing doing certain things? Like, how are you able to be productive during the course of your day and the course of your week?
Well, honestly, the main thing is discipline. And when you become disciplined in what it is that you're doing, discipline and structure, because you have an understanding that, like you said, there's only 24 hours in a day. So if I structure my day in the things that I'm trying to accomplish, then I get into the habit of being able to do things on a routine and regular basis. And honestly, that's what the boss life is about. It's about being disciplined, being structured, and being focused on the things that I want to do. My One of my mentors, Dr. Will Moreland, he always says that the difference between an entrepreneur or someone who's successful and someone who may not be successful is what they decide to do with the amount of hours that they have. What are you doing that's being productive in that day? How are you being productive? And then holding yourself accountable, and then also having someone else or others that, your circle that will and can hold you accountable as well. Did you get this done? Where are you with this project? Where are you with that? You said you were going to do this. You said you were going to do that. When you have those elements, when you surround yourself with those elements, and you become routine, and you become habitual with what you're doing, it becomes a part of your lifestyle. It becomes just an ordinary part of what you do. It's like you don't have to think about it. And I'll go back again to Kobe Bryant. He talked about, in one of his interviews, he talked about the difference between him being good and him being great. He said he talked about the schedule that he had in his head, and he noticed. He said, most basketball guys, they're gonna get up. They get up maybe like 6 or 7 o'clock. They get to the gym about 8 o'clock. They work out for 2 hours. Then they go to lunch or whatever. Take a 2 hour break. And then come back. They had a whole routine. And he said, well, what I noticed, what I'm going to do is, in order to give myself more time, that means I have to get up earlier. So his routine was, he was at the gym by 4, I believe it was, worked out for 2 hours, came back home, ate for ate, took a 2 hour break, then went back to the gym, and he had a whole routine. But he talked about the difference, giving himself those couple of extra hours per day, per week. And that made him, he said, the difference in between him and those others that weren't doing the same thing, it naturally happened. He became a lot more efficient, a lot more effective, a lot better. He outgrew his competition. So he was that much better because why? He put in more hours than they did with what he was doing. He worked on certain things. He had a structure, and he had a disciplined order about what it was that he did. And to me, it was the perfect example. His structure, what he talked about, gave the perfect example of what you just asked about. When doing it, and when he was doing it, that was his life. That was what he became to do. That was his lifestyle. That became what he did every day. His routine was that. So it became a part of his habit. That was what he did, and it was something that he just didn't even have to think about after a while. It was his lifestyle. It was what he did. It was how he did it. So that's what I would say is the difference.
Absolutely. And I definitely love that. I
Yeah.
speak often about the importance of having a morning routine, even an evening routine. And it sounds
Right.
like, that's, partially what Kobe Bryant, that is, did. He sacrificed. And one of the things he
Hmm.
sacrificed, was, he could have been using that time to do other things. But, he understood the greatness that was within him. And he knew that it would take more than just average, right? More than just an
Yep.
average mindset, more than just an average actions, more than just average routine to achieve the level of greatness that he was able to achieve in his life. And now with his legacy, hopefully more of us entrepreneurs, basketball fans, and everyone else can continue to be influenced and impacted by Kobe Bryant, the life that he lived and the sacrifices that he made. Certainly some people just see, what manifested on the court. But as you just indicated, Leroy, much of that work it took place before he even stepped foot on the court, right, for a game. So, and that's the same thing. That's the same mindset that we have to have in our life and business. What we see that manifests, the greatness that manifests with someone, the final product is often what you see. There's a lot of work, there's a lot of sacrifice that goes in before the manifestation of that product or before that person becomes that quote unquote success story. So as an entrepreneur, don't get discouraged, right? If you're believing in
Absolutely.
yourself, if you're sacrificing, as Leroy says, if you're making that shift, if you're doing what you have to do to organize your business, and if you're building, if you're living a boss life, build, organize, shift, and sacrifice, right? Keep going. Don't give up. because your greatness will continue to manifest. And I'll say this as well: celebrate along the way, celebrate each and every accomplishment along the way. Don't wait until something big happens. Celebrate those small wins. A small win can be, say, when it comes to your morning routine, if you've been struggling with that, right? And you've been able to do better in terms of making a habit. You mentioned that, making a habit out of your morning routine. Celebrate that, right? And we cannot stay complacent in our life or in our business if we truly want to get to the next level. So baby steps, small steps, celebrate, and keep moving forward. Were you going to say something, Leroy?
No, I'm just saying you're right on point with that. And when you do those things, and you have to celebrate along the way. You have, and that's key, because that's what keeps you motivated.
Mhm.
Because as you see those successes, it gives you the encouragement, it gives you the push that you may need, because you'll have to. I'm telling you, and yeah, I know you know this, Shana, that you'll have to lean on some of those successes as you're going through some of the tough times. You'll be like, whoa. Oh, okay. I got to get through this, but I remember when I did do this and I did do that and I was able to do this. So those small successes mean so much. They mean so much. They mean a lot.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Now, Leroy, earlier you mentioned the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic,
Yes.
and how it has impacted all of us in many different ways, but it truly has impacted the entire world since February or so of this year. What changes or sacrifices or shifts have you made in your business, Leroy, since the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, honestly, the major shift that has happened has been the excuse me, I would have to say on the event side, there have been no in-person events. So that kind of, you had to understand where that aspect of I had to understand that aspect of my business was, and where it's going right now, where it is right now, and to be able to say, okay, there aren't going to be any more in-person events for the rest of this year and probably going into 2021. So what do I need to do to kind of offset that, or to be able to go from uh, the in-person events to now saying, okay, what events can I shift to that are virtual, that are going to put that that are virtual, and that I can put myself into, that's gonna give me the same kind of exposure that I would get for the in-person event. So that's probably been the biggest shift that I've had to make, and it was a good thing for me, and I think several other business associates of mine, we were already doing the online virtual thing. So it kind of shifted. That was part of our what we were already doing. So it assisted us to say, okay, well, we're already doing it. We just kind of have to amp up and ramp up what we do on the virtual side, and we just have to kind of understand that the physical in-person events aren't going to be there right now, or they would have to be very very, 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 very limited. But most events kind of went to the virtual space just because of the safety concerns and all of those things. So that's been the biggest adjustment and shift that I've had to make. But I've been able to do that, and I've been able to, those that are around me, and those other business owners, that was something that we kind of talked about, and business associates of mine, that we talked about, and we understood, kind of had a game plan and developed a game plan for being able to handle that.
I definitely love that.
Yeah.
Um, so speaking of COVID-19 as well, and just the challenges that we have experienced in 2020, that is Damon John. You may have
Mm,
seen this recently, Leroy. He announced recently the very first Black Entrepreneurs Day, and that is going to take place on October 24th. So
hmm
in a little less than 2 weeks. But I was just doing a little bit more research
Okay.
regarding Black businesses in America. And the New York Post had an article recently that indicated that 75% of Black business owners have actually seen an increase in business since June of this year, which I think
Mm-hmm.
is a phenomenal thing, of course. And, and hopefully some of the strategies that you indicated, and especially, sacrifice and shift, right? The having the ability and the willingness to shift their mindset, shift their perspective, shift business operations, in order to thrive, not only during the COVID-19 pandemic, but hopefully well beyond this pandemic or any other pandemic that they may endure in life. Now, certainly, I mean, that's great news, right? 75% of Black businesses have seen an increase in business, but there are also still some challenges as well, that the post
Mm-hmm.
indicates. And one of the challenges is building a support network. 40% of the
Mm-hmm.
respondents to this survey indicated that it has been extremely challenging for them to build a support network as they grow their business. So, what advice will you give to those entrepreneurs that are struggling when it comes to building that support system for themselves?
Yeah, what I would tell them, or what I would say is plug into like-minded individuals, and that means surround yourself with folks that have the same have as far as wanting to be successful. Um, look for look for events, look for individuals that will assist you in being able to get through what it is that you're trying to get through. One of the things that I know that I did was I call it my circle of impact is those people that I'm around that I pour into, and in addition to me pouring into them, they actually pour into me. So we kind of it's that iron sharpens iron type of mindset mentality, and you have to be around people. You have to surround yourself with people who have that same belief system, who have that same kind of stick to itiveness. And you got to watch the you got to watch the energy that you have around you. If you have negative minded entrepreneurs that every day or every other day or every other hour they're complaining about things, you got to say, no, I can't. That's somebody that I can't allow to be in my circle. And you want to get involved with different mastermind groups. I know I've done that. Different mastermind groups that talk about the issues that you deal with as an entrepreneur, because you never know who may be able to assist you with the issue that you might be having as an entrepreneur, whether it might be a particular product that you have, that there might be a particular reason that it's working. So you may be able to get someone in the group that sees something that you don't. So you want to my first thing is you want to do an assessment of the people that you have around you. And then the second thing is look at different events, networking events, and opportunities that you can attend virtually, of course, more than likely, that will allow you to be able to be around people who have the same kind of mindset successful mindset and greatness mindset that you have. Because if you're around successful people, then more than likely the energy is going to be different, the knowledge is going to be different, the
Mm-hmm.
information is going to be different, the resources that get shared are going to be different. Trust me, those conversations between the conversation between negative people and positive people, or people who are successful and people who are wealthy, it's a whole different kind of conversation. So you have to ask yourself, what kinds of conversations are you having with the people that you are around? And if those conversations aren't progressive, if those conversations aren't moving you forward, moving them forward, where you all are talking about solutions, if you all aren't talking about answers to problems, then you need to change that circle. So that's what I would say to them.
Wow, amazing advice. And, I will also add, or it's certainly cliche, many of us have heard this before, where it says, what if you're the smartest person in the room, then you are in the wrong room, right? So if your circle of impact is not helping you to build, is not helping you to organize, is not helping you to shift, and is not helping you to sacrifice, then you need to get a different circle. And that different circle, that circle of impact, as Leroy indicates, should be a circle that they have more knowledge than you do, even if in different aspects. Everyone can be an expert or have certain, expertise in certain things. But otherwise, if you are the smartest person in the room, right? If you can't learn from anybody else in that room, then it is time for you to find another room, okay? Looks like we've actually temporarily lost Leroy. Hopefully he comes back to join us momentarily. But once again, this is the Visions of Greatness talk show. I am your host, Shanna A. Jefferson, and today we have been discussing the B.O.S.S Life with special guest Leroy McKenzie Jr. of JNF Enterprises. And Leroy has shared thus far today what it means to live the B.O.S.S life. And I'll just do a recap again. B.O.S.S stands for build, organize, shift, and sacrifice. So if you are an entrepreneur or you're considering diving into the world of entrepreneurship, it is imperative that you implement and incorporate these strategies in your, not even just in your business, y'all, in your life as well. Looks like Leroy has jumped back on. Let me see if I can bring him on. Leroy? Oh, looks like we may have just lost him again. But please, y'all, share the video. Let me see what comments we have. Thank you again for everyone who has tuned in today to the Visions of Greatness talk show. If you're having challenges currently growing your business, if you're having challenges in life as an entrepreneur, feel free to drop a comment. You're welcome to get in contact with me, or you're also welcome certainly to get in contact with our guest today, Mr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. I'm going to go ahead and bring Leroy back on. Hi, Leroy. Oh, we can't. Can you hear me, Leroy?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, perfect. All right. So yes, I was just giving our Divisions of Greatness audience a recap of what we have been discussing today. And Leroy always say, every time we connect, we can go on and on and on and on and on, right? never enough time. But let's, and the time that we do have left today, and again, for those of you who are just joining on, definitely make sure you catch the replay because Leroy has already dropped some amazing gems thus far today. So Leroy, what's next for you in 2020 and beyond?
Well, for 2020, to me, it's about finishing strong. We're in the last quarter of 2020, so it's about finishing this year strong. The events that I'm going to be a part of, making sure that that I close out with those events. I have working with a couple of authors that have their books that are coming out, in addition to some entrepreneurs that are working on their businesses to be able to start and come out with theirs the beginning of the year. And then 2021, it's about it's about moving forward, and understanding what we've gone through in 2020, and then saying, hey, how can I make 2021 better than 2020 has been? Understanding that, hey, COVID is still going to be around, but since the shift has been made, now we can say we have a clear understanding of what we need to do going into 2021. And then honestly, there's going to be a shift that needs to be made, and hopefully by the middle of the year of 2021, going into the end of the year, because hopefully a lot of things will be back to being fully operational and fully open, and we'll be able to deal with that aspect of it. But for right now, it's about closing this year 2020 out strong, finishing strong, as I always talk about wanting to finish strong, but then 2021 moving beyond your breakthrough. So that's what's next for me.
Wow, I love that. Moving beyond your breakthrough. Gosh, Can't wait to hear more about that, Leroy. That sounds definitely amazing. And then also, yeah, as far as 2020, we're about about 2.5 more months left in 2020. I shared recently, that 2020 ain't over. Some people say they want to throw in the towel, start over. No, 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 no. Yes, we should plan and prepare for 2021 and beyond. But as you indicate, Leroy, there's still time left in 2020. There's still time left in 2020 to win in your life and business. It ain't over, okay? So if you're feeling stuck, you still have time, right? Get you an accountability partner, like Leroy indicated, right? Find a way to focus on truly being the boss in your life and business. And as Leroy suggests, boss means to build, organize, shift, and sacrifice. And as entrepreneurs, it is imperative that, yes, we should focus on our baby, our business, or whatever your endeavors are, entrepreneur endeavors are, but also ensure that you are doing what you need to do in your life as well. Don't just be a boss in your business, be a boss in your life as well. You are the CEO, or you are the boss of your life. So do what's necessary to be the boss. Show up for you every day of your life. Show up for you every day for your business. Get accountability partners, as Leroy says. Grow your circle of impact, as he indicates as well. And never give up. Keep pushing forward. Finish 2020 strong, y'all. Let me bring Leroy back on. Hopefully I gave a great summation, Leroy, of your points today. I was taking my notes.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And hopefully I've been able to share some knowledge, some information and resources that people will be able to use to be able to take themselves, their business and their brand to their next level. Whatever that next level is for you. Hopefully this will give you some of those tools that you need to be able to do that. Because at the end of the day, that's what I look to do, to enlighten, empower, and impact people in such a way that they're better after we've had these kind of conversations than they were before they've seen these kind of conversations. So I thank you for allowing me to be able to visit and be on your platform, to be able to talk to your viewers and your audience and everything about entrepreneurship and the boss life.
Absolutely. Thank you as always, Leroy. Final nugget for greatness. I know you dropped many today, but final nugget for greatness for the entrepreneurs that are tuned in today to the Visions of Greatness talk show.
I'll leave them with this. And as I always say, is build the impact and don't chase the money, chase the impact. Because when you build the impact, when you build the impact, you change the world. And as you build your business and your brand, um, take take yourself and think about how you can make someone better by the products, by the services that you offer to them. And when you do that, trust me, all of the other things I believe will fall into place. Never stop believing. As you said, Shana, never give up, never stop believing, and always trust and believe in yourself and your business and your brand. Because if you don't believe in it, then no one else will. So and always finish strong. Finish 2020 strong. This is the year of purpose and passion. Move with purpose and passion, and ensure yourself to be able to continue to build the impact that you're having so far.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. Build the impact and change the world. How can our audience connect with you, Leroy? How can our audience connect with
Say it
you?
again, Shin. Sure, they can connect with me. Our website is www.jnfenterprises.com. We're on Facebook, JNF Enterprises, Instagram at JNF Enterprises, YouTube channel. Check out our YouTube channel. Please like, share, subscribe. It's under JNF Enterprises. Twitter is at JNF Enterprises 1. Pretty much everything is JNF Enterprises. You can connect with us and be able to see all of the things that we have going on and then what we have coming up in the last couple of months.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Leroy. Well, once again, this has been another episode of the Visions of Greatness talk show where we educate, empower, and equip entrepreneurs to achieve success in their life and business. I'm your host, Shanna A. Jefferson, and be sure to follow me on all platforms at Shanna A. Jefferson. Until October 25th, same time, 4 o'clock p.m. Have a great day, maximize, and live the boss life. Loving greatness, y'all. Bye.